Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave and this is my daily ruling. Today's question comes to us from the True Stories collection, as in it actually happened at an event I was actually judging. Amy plays Calibrated Blast. Her opponent Nick controls various creatures of differing toughnesses. Can Amy wait to see what card she's going to reveal before choosing what creature she's going to target with Calibrated Blast? Okay, so if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you probably already have an idea of what I'm going to say. That first we need to take a look at the process for casting a spell. And yeah, that's a pretty good first step, so let's take a look there. As you probably already know, one of the steps in the process of casting a spell is choosing targets. And revealing cards from the top of your library is not one of the steps that's specifically called out in part of the process for casting a spell. So at first glance, it doesn't look like this trick is going to work, because if that's the case, then the target choosing would be happening when we cast the spell, and the revealing is only going to happen when the spell is resolving. But hold on a moment, let's take a closer look at this. You can see that the word target appears in a sentence that starts with the word win. That indicates that it is not a target of the spell Calibrated Blast, but rather a target of the triggered ability that Calibrated Blast has on it. Now, that triggered ability triggers when you reveal the non-land card, which means that that's good news for Amy, because if you have a triggered ability that triggers when you reveal the card, well, you're certainly not going to choose the targets for that triggered ability until after you see what the card is going to be. So indeed, this trick does work exactly the way Amy hopes it will. Another interesting consequence of this is that spells like Misdirection or even Redirect have absolutely no effect on Calibrated Blast. That's because, again, the target is not a target of the spell Calibrated Blast. Rather, it's a target of a triggered ability that Calibrated Blast happens to have on it. The spell Calibrated Blast itself actually has no targets. So you still would be able to change the target of it, but you would need something special. Maybe something like a Deflecting Swat that you could use to change the target of the triggered ability. Or you could also use something like an Aethersnatch. If you gain control of the Calibrated Blast before the triggered ability triggers, then you would be the person who gets to choose what the target for that triggered ability would be. One more thing before I sign off. If you're a longtime fan of the channel, you might also know that I'm a big fan of templating. And that means that I took a close look at this card when I saw it the first time. I was a little bit put off by the fact that it didn't have any targets, which certainly seems counterintuitive. On the other hand, the longer I looked at it and the more I thought about it, the more I like the way that it's worded. It's very difficult for me to come up with a way to word this card in such a way that you do get to look at the card that you revealed before you choose what creature, player, or planeswalker is going to be taking the damage. If you can come up with a way to word this card in a way that makes more sense, I'd love to hear about it. But that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again tomorrow for another daily ruling, but until then, I hope you have a great day.